want to welcome Bonnie Serratore, an amazing master tracker and energy healer. Bonnie is a spiritual accelerator, which means she helps people accelerate their personal healing, growth, and spiritual development. And Bonnie accelerates the liberation of our authentic, true, and divine self. And she does this by removing and clearing all the unwanted foreign energy from the person she's working with in all time space, as these do tend to interfere with the expression of our divine self. So everything Bonnie knows, she has learned through direct experience in her own life, as well as from working with her clients and students. So she has not studied or trained with any teachers, living or dead, does not use spirit guides or any trance-inducing tools. She relies on nothing but her own inner knowing and the energy of the white light of creation. So yes, Bonnie was born with amazing abilities. She has developed, though, an intimate connection with herself and the light through this profound personal experience she's had in this life. So Bonnie lived alone in the desert in Arizona for 4 years, and she spoke to almost no one during that time. And then she expanded her skills and burnt through much of her own interference and ego during those 4 years. She's taken personal trips where she studied the energy of the pyramids of Egypt and the sacred sites throughout Israel, and we'll ask her a bit about that. And in these experiences, she cultivated deeper and deeper connection with Source by realizing the true nature of her own divinity. Bonnie's work has led to the start of the White Raven Center and many other spiritual centers throughout the west coast of the US. And spiritualacceleration.com, that is the culmination of everything that Bonnie's discovered and the realms of consciousness that she has expertly explored. She's on the leading edge of the spiritual acceleration movement, and this is a global community of people dedicated to their own personal liberation and supporting others who are on that journey. Her work is like no other in that its transformation is profound, permanent, accelerated beyond expectation. She currently holds regular intensives and professional trainings where she teaches spiritual acceleration techniques and master tracking skills. But welcome, Bonnie. Really glad that you're here. Tell us a little bit, those 4 years in the desert. Now, you had 2 times in your life, didn't you, where you were just off on your own and having to face the inner self. So what did you do? You had no TV or radio, is that right? And didn't see anybody unless you went into town for food, or just describe what your life was like there.
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, when I was 19, I went into the mountains and did 4 years stint like that. But the one when I went to the desert in 2006, I mean, I had a part of me had a belief that if I can go do this and be alone, and if I could just be with myself and, just unravel whatever and be at peace, I kind of believed that I would reach a state of, consciousness, awareness, enlightenment, whatever, okay? But it wasn't really like that. It was pretty intense, I have to tell you. So, I don't know too many people that even would spend a week completely alone. I mean, there's a lot of hermits and people that do that, but it's not something that just your normal person is going to go do, okay? Because there's no interaction. You're in an energy environment in the desert, and there's not a lot of distraction happening. So, what would happen, I think that people, when you just start being with yourself, and I'm not talking like going into meditation or any distractions, but if you sit with yourself, you're going to feel your body. You're going to feel the turmoil that's still within, okay? So that was what I was doing. And, of course, the intention was to bring things to surface, clear and unravel, so the heart can open and be more authentically true self. And, for most of the time, the only time I ever saw other people were if I went into town. And then probably the last year that I was in the desert, I did spend some time with my sister, occasionally here and there, maybe once every couple of weeks here and there. But that was pretty much it. And I mean, it's an intense experience. I can remember walking in my house, talk to myself, asking myself, look what you've done this time, Bon. Are you having a good time now? So it gets really intense. It gets really uncomfortable. And, I did it for a reason. My life has been devoted to awareness, consciousness, waking up, liberation, freedom, so that was just another piece of my journey that brought me to where I am. But what happened there for me, I'm also in a film, it's called Awaken Soul to Soul, and the producers actually came to film me, and there was, when they were there, the one of the people, they had asked me to help, so I did, but he had all of these demonic energies, demons attacking him. So that's what really, really woke me up to the dark force energies. Not that I didn't know them before, but this took it to another level. And once I saw that and started working with that, that's when I started, looking at other people and discovering that there's so much happening with the dark force, and there's interferences that people don't understand. Like, for example, Shauna, it's like, I've met a lot of people, you meet these people, they're just sweet, precious beings, and they just want to do good. They're, they want to hold light, and yet they got health issues, financial issues, relationship issues. It's like they just, no matter what they do, there's nothing that shifts them. So, let me see here. Okay, so I'll go back. Oh, yeah, you took some oaths, vows, allegiances, promises, agreements, contracts with the powers of darkness for personal gain. What did you do? Oh, we got soul devouring, soul capturing, soul annihilation, soul torturing. We've got sacrifices, human sacrifices. You know what I mean? It just goes on and on. Depending on how deep a person goes into using the powers of darkness is going to determine how much under attack a person can be. So when you start cleaning these things up, then people's lives change. Okay, so there was a time when we really, it was difficult to release people from these vows, and because they had done things, they had utilized these powers, and these dark powers are not going to just let you go. So, by releasing agreements and contracts, just working that, we're able to now release people from those agreements and contracts, vows, and their lives changed. So that was something that became very clear to me. And then I also really got a true sense of the interferences. Sometimes we think about, okay, I have this issue, maybe I feel shy, okay? I'm really shy. Well, let's just go in there and see what's really going on, you know what I mean? So it's always going to be past lives, always. In fact, nothing begins in this lifetime. Everything began in past lives. It's just a recreation in this lifetime with the intention to heal it, to be done with it, and move on to the next lesson of the soul and its own evolution. So what I learned by being there, because there's no, you're not distracted. There's nothing to be distracted by, okay? And we're talking the desert. It gets really hot and it does get really cold. So, it's just that whole environment. But the things that I woke up to and realized, and then my tracking and just being able to find sources of where everything began. But again, it rarely is it just one thing. There's conclusions that we make. We have these past lives, and if we do things, just like this lifetime, everybody's done something they have a regret about. Everybody, okay? There's regret, there's shame, there's, feeling like we're not a part of, not wanted. So all these things that we've experienced, we're going to bring them here. But my point is that you have to get all the pieces in order to release someone completely. And when someone is released from whatever wounding, misperceptions, conclusions, self-punishing, self-undermining, whatever that's in the subconscious, you clear all that out, and then you get all the agreements and contracts out, and then get any implants or, devices, mechanisms, all the pieces. When you get those released, what happens is the person can't even find the thought of that particular behavior. The reaction is gone. Okay, so that's what the work is really about, is get to the core so that it gets unraveled. So your soul lesson on that is done. And again, you're not. It's like you don't have that energy, and it's just gone. And I know that for myself because, of course, in my own healing, you know how you got feelings and sensation. Well, then, but they're just gone. They're just gone. It's over. And when it's not there in your subconscious, you can't attract it to you because you're attracting everything from your subconscious. So, it's like it shifts and changes.
Well, that's the incredible thing about any energy worker's ability, particularly your accelerators are trained to track what's going on in the subconscious, what's happened in past lives, what's coming in and affecting the person from without, maybe some being kind of sticking to them or it's been bothering their family for a while, energy forms hanging around or in them, and of course discarnate entities sitting in their body acting like, oh good, I'll just run this body. Oh, this is me. I'm sure it doesn't look like me. That's not my name, but okay. But you just mentioned about sort of feeling it's almost sort of a form of self-harm where we're putting ourselves down. We're feeling very low self-esteem. Now, I've noticed sometimes there's a mix between the people who go into religion in this life because they planned it that way, not blaming anybody. This happened to me too. And so we're trained to live in guilt and trained to live in constant self-correction and self-criticism. Now, on top of that, or in the mix, we might have had lifetimes in which we exploited. We were in a power position and we exploit. This is the most bizarre mix to me. Now, when you pull out the threads of the low self-esteem and whatnot, you pull that out. Is that goal, that really pompous expectation that we can tell other people what to do? In other words, the opposite, is that also pulled out?
Yes, so it's a behavior thing, it's because all the behaviors are sitting on top of something else, some kind of lack, some kind of self-esteem, some kind of worthiness, some kind of belief of belonging or not belonging, and some kind of trying to control because you've experienced growing up chaos, out of control, so we try to control. So as these woundings or these issues get cleaned up, you organically and naturally are more heartfelt, meaning, you're not so much judging, victim, blaming, all that things that we do. There becomes more heart-centered, and then we're no longer having those kinds of behaviors with others. Everything changes. Everything. Well, you know what I mean? It's like, of course, there's lots of different components, pieces that we're all dealing with, and yet when we clean something up, everything changes. It's like the demeanor changes. People even look different. Wow. It's you know what I mean? It's like people look different sometimes. It's pretty cool.
So it seems almost like you see something different in their features?
Oh, yeah. There's like think about this. When we have all this tension, not even knowing it, you know what I mean? Like if we got all this, let's just say that we feel like there's something wrong with us, okay? You've heard this. There must be something wrong with me. I must be bad. I don't know what it is. And so when those feelings aren't there anymore, the body can relax. And as the body relaxes, your face, your tension, everything relaxes, but it also allows for the life force, the energy frequencies that are in us, those start to flow more easily. So everything is being nourished in some way, whether it's on an energy level or nutritionally level, or the body absorbs better. The emotions aren't so wound up and bound up that you're just tight inside. So everything shifts and changes. It allows for your better well-being and healthier body and healthier mind and clearer emotions and less reactions, less judgment, less fault finding, not making people wrong, and victimization, that whole victim thing that everybody has,
Are you feeling,
all of that.
I want to jump in and ask, are you feeling that the victimization, identifying with victimhood, and feelings of disempowerment, like, oh, this happened to me. I didn't plan this. This just happened to me. It's not my fault. Are you feeling like that's one big issue that people, if we could crawl out of that, if we could get up from under that, it would change everything?
It would change the world, okay? Because if you just look at the world, what's happening, everybody's blaming somebody else, okay? That's on the big scale. Now, if we just take it down to on a personal level, here's the thing, and I know people don't like it when I say this, people get upset, but there really are no victims, okay? So think about this. We are all souls evolving. We are evolving. How do we evolve? Through direct experience, okay? You need direct experience to know yourself in these various ways. So we have experiences, but we don't know that we're souls evolving. We're in these bodies. All we can feel and see is that oh, that guy just ran into my car. He did that to me. He did it, okay? They're not aware that on an energy level, subconsciously, we are co-creating everything because we're trying to unravel the emotional wounding, because that wounding is what keeps recreating the same energy over and over, but it's also where the soul has not stayed in the body and gone through these emotions to the other side. So we're all constantly getting activated. We're all constantly having reactions. We're constantly having judgments. But if people start to understand and realize that, wait a second, I create my reality 100%. This is all about me. And there really are no victims, because there's agreements at the soul level. We agree to have experiences, to know ourselves and everything. And then we have these experiences, but we don't remember that we agree to these experiences. And of course, we're going to feel victimized. Okay. But that victim mentality keeps us completely stuck, and it keeps us recreating more and more and more and more and more victimization. And then there's that part around, there's a perverse pleasure in one's suffering. This is for real. I remember when I woke up to that. I can tell you exactly where I was. And I was it doesn't matter where I was. But I woke up to it, and it's like, oh, whoa, that was it. I was like, oh, that's it. So, it's like, oh, wow, I get it. Oh, it hurts so good to hurt so bad. We are identified with it. It's who we are. And people don't want to give up their identity. And what they think is their identity, they don't want to give that up. Okay? It's like, how many people really do you know, Oceana? It's like, it's like, I have suffered more than you. You know what I'm saying? I've suffered so much. People are like proud of their suffering, and then they want to outdo other people's suffering, So it's like, I'm the greatest sufferer. I'm the big martyr, And people are attached to this. So they don't like hearing that they're creating their reality. They don't like hearing that there really are no victims. There's a co-creation. And those co-creations are agreed upon from all the past experiences that we've never really let ourselves know ourselves in. So the true unwinding happens when the soul is in the body. We're going through deep, profound emotional experiences to the point where we lose, there's no thought. We are the emotion so fully that we know it. And as we're in it, even though it can feel like you're going to die, it can feel like your heart is breaking, it can feel like you're shattering, it can feel like you're going crazy, but you just stay there, no thoughts, no the emotion. And then it starts to lift and unravel, because the soul now knows that emotion all the way. It has no need to keep recreating it. It got it. So there's so many, like in loss or abandonment or betrayals, or, it's like life. There's always something. Being ostracized and, everything. It creates an emotion. So as a soul, the soul wants to know itself, because creation is everything. So the journey back to oneness is that journey of the soul knowing itself in every way possible, even in the lightest of light, the darkest of dark. It doesn't really matter. It's just the soul learning. And I want to say something. Way back, it was 1994, I'll never forget. I was doing I was going back in time. I was using breath and going into an altered state, using breath. And I went all the way back into the pyramids, into Egypt, and being an initiate and going into the sarcophagus. When I went to the sarcophagus, I was shown several things. I was seeing these horses, these guys, these knights or whatever they were, warriors on horses and fighting, and arms coming off, and the soul's right there. It doesn't care what you're doing. It doesn't care if your body's being broken or cut up. It's just the experience. There's no attachment to it. But as the human body and our human experience, we think it's everything, because we're feeling it. But clearly we're not our bodies. And clearly that part of us that is untouchable, that is eternal, is in the very core of who we are. We all have it. We can all come into that which we are of pure awareness. There's nothing there. There's no trauma, drama. There's no poor me. It's just pure, pure, pure love and light. That is who we are. That is the eternal, and nothing can hurt that. You can do everything to the body, but you can't touch that. So, it's all about the soul's evolution, the soul waking up. And, when we learn how to do it, shifts happen quite rapidly. It's pretty cool.
Well, when you visited the pyramids in Egypt, did you feel that the energy there was full of revelation if somebody was just open to it? I know people have been greatly changed by it. Some of them are healed by being inside a pyramid.
Yeah. We went to the temples, and we did go to the Great Pyramid. We did go up, and people got to go into the sarcophagus. The temples were, for me, that's where the big stuff was happening, like big. Okay, all the different temples. I don't remember the names of them now, but there was a temple like where you face your fear, and there was this is where they had the crocodiles down in the water, down in wells, and the initiates would have to enter the water. I mean, these crocs are like, they're not something to mess with. Okay. What was interesting though, this is a trip, Oceana, when we got there with the boat, we come off, and we were starting to gather, and these guys started coming over with machine guns. They were afraid. They didn't know what we were, they didn't want us to do what we were doing. So all I did was just start talking to the one guy, and pretty soon we're sharing a soda with him or whatever, and he even had a cigarette, and it's like, we all were hanging out, and then they let us do whatever we wanted to do. But that energy of fear, they came with these guns and like really intense, okay? And then, there were different temples were different, lots of different things were happening. So there was the Temple of Ascension. I need to find this picture because we were there and I was shown where to go. So we went right to a certain area, and there was people, our peoples were taking pictures. And then I did a thing where we were releasing energy. And then they took a picture right afterwards, and there were hundreds of orbs in these pictures. Hundreds. Okay. It was like unbelievable. Okay. But it was awesome. So that happened. But every place we went was a different experience, and something different would happen. We were at the Temple of Isis. So I didn't know this, but the Temple of Isis, we arrive and we're all looking around, and then the guy that was showing us different things, they were gathering, and I was with one of the women, and we were walking back, and all of a sudden my body started getting like all tweaking out. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I didn't know what was happening. So we went over to the group, and I sat down, and the man started saying, well, the temple used to be a quarter mile that way. Then I knew it. I knew it was being asked of me, and my mind's going, this is impossible. This is impossible. What they wanted me to realign the energy that quarter mile to where the temple was. So they removed it, they rebuilt it brick by brick, so to speak, and because the Nile, they started going underwater, so that's why they moved it. So I had the whole group, we all just worked with that, and realistically it wasn't really that hard, because when you're talking a quarter mile on, from the heavens, that's like nothing, you know what I'm saying? So all we did was just realigned it to be where it was, and everything opened up in that temple. The energy shifted and changed. People were laughing, and we went back into the temple, back into where you put stuff on or whatever. Went back in there, and everything felt different. You know what I mean? So the energy shifted. So the temples, though, this is where all the initiates went. And the people that were in this group, everyone was having past life memories, especially after we shifted the energy. And I remembered many of these people. They remembered me back in the temples. It was awesome. It was really beautiful.
They remembered you. What do you mean, from another life?
From back in the temples, when we were high priestess, when we were initiates in the temple.
Oh my word!
How over 8,000 years ago. Yeah, trippy. Where
did that message come from to realign the energies? Were there guardians, spirit guardians?
Well, what happened? This. Okay, remember how I always get the knowing?
Yeah.
That's just how it works for me. So, I'm over there. Like I said, I'm feeling like I'm going to pass out. I feel like I'm being nauseous. But when the guy said the temple was over there and we moved the bricks, brick by brick, I got it right then and there. I knew. That's when I started talking, to them. It's like my higher levels, God consciousness, whatever. It's like, I can't. This is not possible. You know what I mean? And so but they wouldn't leave me alone until I did it. And So then we did, and then everything calmed down. And then every time we went to a different place and something needed to be done, all of a sudden I start getting that same feeling, and I know, oh, great, I'm supposed to do something. I wouldn't know till I got where it was, and then I would do whatever I had that knowing to do. So it came, it came direct.
And then at that point, your past life memories started coming up, or had you already had that?
Well, I had already had, but it became even more. Yeah. Even more. Yeah.
Oh
it was a trip. It just opened so much up for everybody. Everyone was just, they were so excited. You know what I mean, Oceana? It's just like you're having these memories, and you're going around the temple and you're talking about, oh yeah, we were here. Remember this? It was a trip. It was a trip.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah. Have you had memories of being at Atlantis or Lemuria?
Yeah, Atlantis. I remember Atlantis. And I actually remember like this massive light. I remember a light kind of thing happened. And everything just it's like something major happened. And that was where where I think must have killed me or whatever, because I just saw the light and it's like boom, like that. And that's all I remember is all the light. But yeah, Atlantis for sure. Yeah.
Do you think you were a priest scientist there, or healer, or do you have any sense of your role?
Yes, and so a lot of my incarnations, especially maybe not the early ones, of course, but I have so many lifetimes, Oceana, of being some kind of shaman, healer, you know what I mean? Like something that does something with alternative, with the energy, the frequencies, things of that nature, and being a teacher and high priestess, and then also priests, and just the people that were leading and teaching people, So I've got lots and lots of those memories, lots.
Oh,
I mean, clearly,
I'm feeling you're a teacher. What's that? Sorry.
Yeah. Clearly, just really quickly, Oceana. Here's my training in shamanism. Okay, this is what I mean. It's in us. This is why people they have these natural abilities. It's like they just do it. They know what to do. So we were in Hawaii. A woman was coming over, and my business partner said, "Bonnie, you need to do a soul retrieval." I go, "What?" She goes, "Don't worry about it," because she already knew how I was. Don't worry. So the woman comes and Molly says, "Okay, Bonnie, you need to lay down next to her, make sure you're in body contact." And she starts drumming, and that was it. I went down and I found the piece, made a trade for what had her, and I pulled her back up and brought her back, and that was my training. So from there, this is where I'm at now. Okay.
Oh my God. How mind-blowing. The training was exactly, on the job learning. So you do those trades with ETs as well, isn't that right? If they're using somebody or...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most of the ETs, when there's an implant, take it out. And a lot of the ETs are really easy to deal with. There's a particular group that is not easy to deal with. Those are the ones that, this particular group that I'm looking at, they're connected with our government.
Yes, yeah.
They're in cahoots with our government, okay? Guaranteed. And these guys are they're pretty gnarly. But I can always find what they need and want, and I can always do a trade, giving them what they need. Yeah. So that works pretty well.
Do you give them something they value?
Something they value. Yeah, that would be it. Something that they value, something that would give them power over different things that, things that they're not interested in simple things. You know what I mean? They don't. Yeah. They want power. Yeah. And they're a worried species, and it's all about power and taking over and being more potent, that kind of thing. So depending on what I need, depends on how much of a trade, how big the trade is. Once that happens, but those are the worst ones I've come across. Of course, you got all your reptilian species. Like I discovered that way back, and that was like 1986 or 87. That's when I discovered the reptilian species, reptilian world. I was a reptilian, one of my people that I was first learning how to do a removal, discarnate removal, and I would talk to them. And the guy was in there. I haven't recorded from way back, but he called himself the Emerald Prince. But he was from that particular, what I call the reptilian world.
Jen, it's a little intense. We've had world leaders who are reptilian, and sometimes people see them shapeshift, and royal family members here and there. Yeah, very intense situation. I don't despair. I feel that there's a ton of light coming into the planet, and that we will move up vibrationally, that we are, and that's one of the reasons why we see so much intensity. But before I ask you about the world situation, tell us briefly about Israel, about your time there. And did you tap into a past life there as well?
Israel was phenomenal. Okay, so the first place I went was the Wailing Wall. The moment I went to the wall, put my hands on the wall, all of a sudden, Jesus presented. And he showed me all the prayers, because if you haven't been, the wall, it's got little nooks and crannies, and for all these, couple thousand years, people have been putting their little notes in there.
Yes.
So all over, these prayers are going in. So he showed me all the prayers going up, because people are praying, praying to God, praying for whatever it is that they want. So I saw that. And then there were several places. He showed me where he cast those demons into the pigs and then sent them into the water to drown, whatever. We went to the well where Mary was, spoken to. But the biggest thing that happened and also at the Jordan River, he wanted me to do something there. And I thought, why don't you just do it? And he goes, because it needs to be done from this dimension here. So I did some clearing with that. But then at the rock where he broke bread, I was with a friend, and we come in and we sit down, and the rock's now roped. You can't no longer touch it. It's worn from hands touching it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I sit down, and all of a sudden I feel him, and I start crying. He says to me, "Why are you crying? You should be rejoicing at our reunion." And then I had past life memory of being there. Okay. So, it was like pretty phenomenal, huge experience. But yeah, so it was like, it shifted me, it changed me. Oh, and then he says to me, "It's time to come off the mountain." Because I do this thing where I isolate and I'll be by myself, and because it's time to be among the people. So I get back. We get back and we get a notice that we have to move. Oceana, I couldn't find a place to move.
Oh, wow.
I had to stay at people's houses. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? It was part of that whole thing was I was forced to be among the people in that way. And then what happened is probably many, many months later, I finally found a place. But then we ended up, that's where I got the big center, the Renaissance Center on 14 acres and a 9-bedroom house. And we had people living at the center. So now all of a sudden I am living in community, okay? Wow. Big community. Yeah. With gardens, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that was very traumatizing. I felt like I had been forsaken. For real.
Okay.
What? Throw me off the mountain and you put me among the people,
Yeah, but it's difficult for an empath. I mean, surely, Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth discovered that himself. He must have been highly, highly empathic, because he always saw people's intentions. He read them, whether they were speaking them or not. And he also knew when somebody needed something from him, or when they were ill and needed help or direction in life. He must know, he would go separate. He would go apart from people to pray or what have you. But maybe he feels that it's just such an intense time on the planet that people with your sort of skills just can't isolate. Your abilities are badly needed. I find it, even though I enjoy doing sessions with people, individual sessions are a bit tiring. Maybe because I'm picking up so much. Have you felt that when you work with people individually?
Yeah, it's intensely draining. I mean, it's exhausting. So, if it wasn't for exhaustion, I would actually do more. I mean, I have a deep desire to help, and my body can only handle so much. So you do a session, and because it's like I go into altered states, and I'm entering other time-space dimensions, even though I'm right here, you see me, but another part of me is just doing and traversing and tracking and finding, and it's just like a wipeout, So, yeah, I do private sessions, but I like the group stuff because I'm reaching more people. The only difference is it goes deeper on a private session because you're tracking an individual. And yet, you can still help a lot. So this is why I keep creating different things. Like in the chakra series, one chakra, we just massively clear out many, 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 like maybe 75 issues. We figure that out, which changes people. But just finding the way to work easier and maintaining energy, but also being able to make a difference, helping.
Wow.
But yeah, it's very draining, Oceana, very draining.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm not the only one. I've even spoken to a few famous channelers who said, I'm exhausted after a session. And I was sort of like, okay, good. That makes sense. So, the world is really in turmoil right now. Why do you think we are in such a place as we are in the U.S. with this election coming up? These two men who are in their 80s or almost, and neither of them seem too sensible. What the heck? What is going on from what you can see?
Yeah. Okay, so, Oceana, I've been tracking the world because I saw things back in 1976. I was shown the future, okay? And everything that's happening is that. Okay. So this is the divine plan unfolding. Here's the thing. The new paradigm, we're not fully in it all the way, but we're, remember, we're at the precipice of it. The light is shining differently. So what's happening is everything of darkness, everything of negativity, things that are not of love, they have to come to the surface. And this is what clearly this is what's happening. Not just out there with these guys that are running for president, but the battles, the wars, and personal lives, everything is in chaos. And I saw this way back. It's going to take crisis and chaos for people to stop doing what they're doing and wake up, So this is all about the waking up. It's the frequency, this is the shift of the ages. We are moving into that lighter frequency where the vibration will not sustain hatred and greed and the ugliness that people have inside. It's not going to happen. So what's happening is the darkness is being lifted from everyone. So what are they doing? Blame, 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 blame. I'm in crisis. I'm starving. I'm hurting. I'm angry. But it's all your fault, okay? People are still asleep. They don't understand that they're creating their own reality, but it doesn't matter because the darkness is being lifted up. That's what's up. It's like a magnet. The light is like a magnet pulling up the behaviors. This is why we're seeing people doing what they're doing. It's pulling up all the darkness, all the jealousies and envies and prejudices and the hatreds and everything we are seeing is inside of people's subconscious. It has to come up in order for it to shift so we can step into that new paradigm. So these guys, these older men that are running for president, it's all this battle, and what's happening too on some level, like when I'm looking at the energy, there's actually a lot of draconian energy. There's also like reptilian energy that are all in these guys, there's a frequency there, and it's just this not a real good energy. It's a negative energy, okay? But again, if you don't see it, you won't know it exists. So everything is now being revealed on something. Not everything, but most things, many, many, many things are now being revealed in a way that were never possible before. Now people are becoming even more aware of what things they would have never known. And the revealing is happening. So that's part of what's happening with the light, shining light. And, it's like everything's still we're not through everything yet, Oceana. I'd like to say, we'll be through this and everything's going to be hunky-dory. That's not what's up. We're still going down. There's still lots of dark energies. We're not through the darkness yet. And so that's the battle that's happening. It's a battle of light and dark, for real. And, here's the thing. I already know, unequivocally, without a doubt, as you know, the light will prevail. Yes. It just may take some time. It may not be in my lifetime, but it will prevail, guaranteed. Because nothing is greater than that. But what happens, though, is it has to be brought up so that it can be shifted and changed and transformed and transmuted so that the darkness doesn't live in the subconscious of humanity. We have to open the heart and have that and start connecting with who we really are, which is that, that frequency of pure love and light that everyone is that. I don't care how asleep you are, it's still there. It's who you are. So that's what's being, trying to be awakened. And by going through these really intense places, it forces people to go into the depths of their own sadness, their own despondency, their own helpless and hopeless, because it's forcing them to hit these emotional places that will only, if you won't go there, then we're going to make you go there. Okay. So crisis, and then it forces people, then they go through and energy lifts, and then their frequency shifts and changes. So that, it's the same journey for everyone. We're all doing the same thing. It just looks different stories.
What is coming up for me as you're saying that is it's, in a sense, a journey to release the ego mind, which we needed to survive in 3D for a long time. It's full of survival tactics, but it also sees everything outside the body as a possible danger. So we are releasing that and realizing oneness. And like you say, if we let go of the hatred and the greed, we stop treating other people like somebody we got to steal from or be edgy around and maybe not like too much, etc. And we're just releasing that and saying, we all flow from that same stream of light that flows through the universe. But I totally agree that we are not getting there by everything being all fluffy and nice and sunny and joyous. We're getting there via shock treatment, which sounds dreadful, but I don't know how else the human race, which is so given to separation and that edginess and competitiveness, I don't know how else we would wake up en masse.
Right. And even in my own life, in my own world, Oceana, it's like, I do talk my higher level. Like I said many times, you don't have to sucker punch me. You don't have to take me down. I'll get it. But then we don't get it because we don't know what it is. And it has to do something to hit that emotional body. And that's how it works. Like I've been saying, okay, I'll do my work, I promise, okay? And what happens? Then I'm in, found another layer of something, and go through that and then clear that up and wow, okay, I get it now. Then the heart feels more open, we have more compassion, more caring, for humanity. But that's it. If we could get it, we can't get it without going through it. That's the bottom line, unfortunately. So that's what it's going to look like. People are going to get sucker punched, so to speak. You're going to get the rug pulled out because it's like we can't get it because it's so anchored deep in the subconscious. It's coming from these past lives. And we kept pushing it down, it never went away. And now here it is, and it's coming up. And it's going to take, and seriously, it's going to take crisis. But what I would say about that, though, is the moment you can feel your emotions, have them, go through them, surrender to them, and you get your work done, get your lesson done, and move on.
Fantastic.
Don't fight it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, people are probably thinking, I give up. How do I, go through my stuff? And you've just answered it. If I see these children on democracynow.org, because that's an amazing news source, they don't sanitize like what the networks do. They show you the children who are crying and who have lost a limb and who are, still have blood on their clothing. Very intense. And I can only watch so much of it. But if the tears come up, I let them come up. And I think, okay, I've been through war in different lives. I've been through loss. And just let it come up. And if something sparks that, if it draws it, cry it out. I've had times of recently of letting stuff out. I'm thinking, wow, really? Did I go through that? And I get a yes, you did go through that in another life, and it's got to come up.
Yes. Yes. We've known it all, I'm telling you. Okay. This is not our first rodeo for anybody. Okay.
No.
And now we got to right. And now we have to face all the things we've done, all the atrocities we've done to others and what's done to us, so that the soul levels can be releasing all these traumas so we can step into the new paradigm. I mean, it's not going to be like, okay, nothing ever bad or sad will happen. That's not it. But it's our relationship to it. And rather than, I don't like you because you have brown skin or black skin or white skin or whatever, okay? And I hate you because of your whatever. It's like, really? That won't be happening. That's not what will be happening.
Yeah, we've got to get past that, haven't we? And I know two of my co-hosts are always saying that. And if we're going to get visitors from elsewhere in the galaxy, if they're green or blue, how are we going to get along with them, is what they're always saying. If we can't get along with black or yellow, red or white or whatever. And it's a good question.
I mean, really, it's all creation, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing but that. If people are thinking that God's up there and you're not that or whatever, it's like, that's not something. Everything, there's nothing but creation. There is nothing but that. And if people start waking up to that, instead of going, I don't like you because you think differently or have a different whatever, it's like if we have this understanding and knowing there's nothing but that, and then same in you, same in me, we all want the same thing. We're all going to the same place. You know, it's like, let's get on the same side, you know, and we can do so much more together rather than separately.
And I think a lot of people are coming to that, but maybe in ways they didn't expect. And that's okay. That's what these energies coming in are leading us to. Absolutely. So what you and your team do, Bonnie, at spiritualacceleration.com is help individuals get particularly through the stuck places in their own lives, in their own spirit and their own subconscious. And so we do encourage people, go to spiritualacceleration.com. I recommend it all the time. And just go to where you see, you know, the team, the accelerators, and you can book a session there with them or with Bonnie. Absolutely amazing work. I can't believe some of the revelations I've gotten in sessions with accelerators, let alone the energy work that they've offered me. And things have really shifted. I think I told you recently I had a session with Michael Higgins, and he got a lot of dark force interference out of there. And that had come in when I was younger, If you ever had a time in your life where you felt really depressed, or you were a tiny child in a trauma situation, an abuse situation, and it could happen in this or any life. When you're out cold because of a surgery or what have you, illness, that's a very vulnerable place. And you can get interferences coming in. So I really encourage people, everybody, just look into it at least. They've got recorded clearings of the member site. They've got the healing clinic. You don't have to spend a lot of dough. And then with the YouTube channel, you and I do that energy update every month, at the beginning of the month, the Spiritual Acceleration YouTube channel. You know, it's just, it's all there. If it's something you're interested in, I would encourage people, please do look into it, because these are intense times we're in. They're very intense times. Nobody gets out of this unscathed and untouched. And
no, you will not.
The more you have to learn, the more is going to come up for you right now. And that's a lot of people, you know, myself included. So,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I just we had a memorial here for my brother, and along when I had the Renaissance Center, one of the facilitators was there. I haven't seen him in years, and he came, and he was just like so thrilled to be able to reconnect, because there were many people from the center here, and my brother was a part of that, but he was just he was in such a dark place. So he reached out. He left and reached out, asked for help. So I couldn't do anything, but I went ahead and let three men accelerators worked with him on Sunday. Each one saw him, and he contacted me and said he had like profound shifting. He was in such a dark place, he just couldn't hardly function. It's here in California, Bay Area. So I had that center for 13 years. We had hundreds of people. But anyway, we had facilitators and that had learned the work back then, which is not the same. Okay, I went to the desert after that, and my work changed, but I hadn't seen him for a while, and then it just totally changed his life, just like that.
Oh, fantastic. It's so interesting because so many people have an emotional or physical issue that they've never quite been able to crack. And sometimes it only takes one, maybe, just 2 sessions with an accelerator, and then it's cleared. It's out of you, it's gone for good. Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Like magic. Yeah. It's not magic, it's just energy.
It's energy work. Absolutely. Well, it's really been great to have you on. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Huge blessings. Thank you so much for your work. And again, it's spiritualacceleration.com, and you can find them on their group page on Facebook as well. Consciousness Unleashed is the podcast, so you could find that as well. Those are good fun.
I think that's the YouTube. I think that's the YouTube channel.
Is it channel as well?
Unleashed.
Okay.
It'll be the YouTube channel. You can find all kinds of. You'll see me from way back, many years ago. Okay, and then Spiritual Acceleration on Instagram. So, thank you so much, and huge blessings. And Oceana. As always, Oceana, I love spending time with you. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Oh, that's so sweet. Mutual, and huge blessings. And I hope we'll see you again on the show. Many blessings.